Welcome to Talk Birdie-tome. This is Australia's most popular golf podcast, with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn, the only player to beat Tiger Woods twice in match play, and tour pro Mark Allen, who played professional golf around the world for 15 years, including a British Open. We're coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. Titleist is the number one ball in golf, and FootJoy is the number one shoe and glove in golf. And thanks to our great partners, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play. Ping, as with Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. See your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now that's better. Now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie-tome. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
The long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece.
I can only imagine what is going through his, not brain, his entire body at that point. G'day everybody, welcome to the Masters review edition of what we all saw at Augusta National. I'm Mark Allen, Nick O'Hearn's with me. Nick, there's only, I've been following sport my entire life, for as long as I can remember. And there's nothing better than drama in sport. But what we saw at Augusta was breathtaking drama. Hole after hole after hole.
It was incredible. And it's funny, my daughter got up early with me to watch the final nine at Augusta.
Right.
And she said to me later on, she said, Dad, it's great to see you like a kid again, because I was like on this roller coaster with everyone on shore, and at the end I was emotionally spent. I was like sweating, and I'm like, what just happened? I had to get my wife to watch the last few holes as well. I said, Alana, you got to see this, because it was when Rory hit that shot into 15. It was incredible, and I thought, okay, here we go again. And how many times he lost and won the golf tournament?
Well,
I don't know.
Look, we're going to go through it. I mean, we haven't looked, folks. We haven't got anything. If you're watching on YouTube, nothing on the run sheet.
No.
We're just talking about the golf. Now, I had to do radio after round 3 to a few radio stations around the country. And I was concerned because I was telling people it was the best third round I'd ever seen in my life at Augusta. The setup was completely off the charts to where, in some respects it was good versus evil. It was Rocky Balboa taking on Ivan Drago. It was PGA Tour taking on Live Golf.
It was.
Rory matches the 66, the comeback 66 in round 2 with the comeback 66 in round 3. And then Bryson, chasing all the way, holes a bomb on the last to guarantee that he gets into the last group with him.
Yeah, he only needed a 2-putt, I think, the last hole. But he holes it and you go, oh, okay.
That was different.
How good is this Sunday going to be?
3 shots. Yeah. It sounds so stupid, but 3 shots is so much better than 2 shots in that situation. Yeah. So much. It's more than 1 shot.
And if he's playing with Corey Connors as opposed to Bryson DeChambeau,
that's right.
How does that,
Well,
unfold?
you explain to people. How much easier would that last round have been for Rory if he's playing with Corey Connors? He doesn't 3-putt 1. He makes bogey. But he doesn't 3-putt 1.
Well, exactly. The funny and how that first hole unfolded was bizarre because he misses carrying that bunker by 1 yard.
1 yard.
The previous day, he admitted after the press conference to being so jacked up that he said the bunker's not even in play.
Yeah, well,
he just blew it over the top.
He did that off his TrackMan numbers, which is really interesting to me.
It's incredible.
He knew the club was moving, or the ball. He knew the ball was moving fast.
Yeah, and
he and his caddy, Harry. We'll talk about you soon, Harry. They just knew it was a Watt bunker situation. Yeah. I mean, how often do what is it? It's about a 320-yard carry, isn't it?
I had a Watt bunker situation when I played with Bryson at the Masters one year at Huntingdale.
Which hole?
The Australian Masters, we get to the second tee final round.
Second tee,
par 4. And he's saying, what is it to fly the bunker? And I turned to Wilbur and I said, what bunker? And his caddy goes, well, it's 200, or he was in yards, 300. What he was talking about was the green side
330
bunker.
yards probably.
And he flew it into the greenside bunker at Huntingdale. And if you know that hole, you know how big a hit that is.
Yeah,
so he had
crazy.
the power back then, and that was before he even bulked up and everything. So
Anyway, so the setup for the final round was something that I hadn't really experienced before, and I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen the next day. And my biggest fear was that it was going to be a letdown somehow.
yes.
That was what I was worried about. But it was anything but. It was drama. It was sick in your guts drama.
Oh, it was.
From almost the first tee onwards.
Well, again, just going back to Rory's press conference, he said the double on one actually helped him. It helped him settle down, which is...
Does that make sense to you?
Well, in a way for Rory, it's better when he's not so far out in front. He's better almost chasing in a way.
Yeah.
Now, it was level pegging and then Bryson birdies 2. And now he's one behind.
Yep.
And you're going, hang on, what just happened?
Yeah. Well, by the way, he doubles 1. A par on number 2 for Rory is like a bogey.
It's like a bogey.
So he's kind of
6-5.
started 6-5 start, and the day before, of course, he's gone 3-3-3, 3-3-3, Masters record.
Yeah.
So different, it's hard to believe. And walking to the third tee, you explain it to people. Walking to the third tee after a start like that, in that situation, with history on the line, can you imagine what he's feeling in his guts?
I don't know. I mean, the word that always came up with throughout that final round and afterwards was resilience. And I guess that's the best way to describe it, because standing on the third tee, you know he's going to himself, right, okay, it's time. We need to... I basically... Some players would have thought, I'm done. I've lost the tournament. He just stands up there, pumps a drive on 3.
Probably the best
chip. He said the best shot he hit all day was the pitch in the 3.
I heard him. Explain why.
Well, it's hard to explain how difficult that pitch is, because if you don't land it on your spot, the ball's coming back down to you.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to hit it 30 feet past.
Yep.
And he hit it to about 6-7 feet above the hole, which is about as good as you're going to get. If you leave it short of that hole, you've actually mishit it, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're playing for just past the hole, giving yourself some sort of a look.
Yeah. A wobbler's chance.
Yeah,
It's just the
exactly.
ball wobbling down and maybe it drops.
Yep. But his game plan all week is just pound driver, take the bunkers out of play, and I'll deal with whatever's in front of me, and it worked for him all week. So he makes birdie there. You could see that just goes, right, I'm back.
And
then
Bryson 3-putted.
And Bryson 3-putted, yeah. Bryson said for some reason afterwards, he says, there's no way that putt should have been that fast.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Yeah, anyway.
What was he? I think that was, that's a golfer's mind speaking, where I don't do much wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get that.
Well,
it's like Nicholas saying he never 3-putted.
Yeah,
It's the same.
Or like Tyrrell Hatton missing that putt on 17 in round 3, going, well, why did it go left?
Yes.
It's because you pulled it, buddy. I mean, it's pretty simple. And you were careless.
You don't listen to Tyrrell.
Yeah, anyway.
You can't listen to him anymore.
But then the swing he puts on 4, the par 3, that was flush.
Wow.
Absolute flush.
What a shot.
And you go, right, he's away.
Yeah.
And then blocks it on 5 into the trees, and he has the gap, and he hits an incredible shot to get it where he
Incredible
did.
shot. I reckon only bettered by what he did on 7. So he pulls one on 7.
So let's talk about 7.
Oh, come on. At the time, I'm in a studio trying to do a radio show, and we're not. It was probably, if you're listening to 3AW Breakfast on Monday, I apologise, because Jim and I,
You were watching the TV,
we were watching the TV. We didn't care who was coming on. We were just reading the questions that were on the screen for us. Literally didn't care.
Worst show in the world?
Worst show ever. We were watching the golf, reading questions, not even listening to the answers. Such was the storyline that was on the TV.
I was doing a radio interview when Victor Hovland almost albatrossed for 2 on 15 that afternoon. And I'm going, hey, I'm radio in WA, so they're all probably going, what the hell? So anyway, it's quite funny.
Anyway, so he pulls it left down 7, and he's got a window, and it didn't look like his lie was the sort of lie where you could hit it straight up. It was on a downslope, I felt. Sitting down, maybe a quarter of the ball sitting in that Augusta rough.
You could see the window with what he was looking at, and Dottie and the commentators and Trevor Immelman, he was saying, look, just punch it through underneath into the front bunker, because where the pin was, because Bryson ended up being that front bunker.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult shot to just splash it long, the slope will bring it back, you can make par, no
Especially
problem.
on the upslope. And you can almost guarantee getting yourself on the upslope, can't you? If you're a good player, you get in there going hard, it's not going to jump out. It's going to be on the upslope for you.
Now, Harry, his caddy, who, as you know, I mentioned
Well, world headlines, Nick. Let's be honest. Last time we started speaking about Harry Diamond,
for him to
it was picked up across the world.
Yes, to win a major was two things need to happen. He needs to take less time over the ball.
Yes.
To his credit, he didn't take more than 7 looks over the ball throughout the entire final round. Usually, when he gets under pressure, he takes 10 to 12 looks. So
we were counting.
I was counting with you.
We were counting looks.
Number 2, he still had Harry on the bag. However, I will say this: I think if he'd have had a more seasoned caddy on his bag, he probably would have won by 6.
Like Billy?
Or whoever. Yeah,
like
whatever.
Steve Williams?
Now, Harry was trying to talk him out of that shot on 7, right? I would have given him a 6 iron and said, here you go, I'm taking these clubs away from you. And walked away.
Walked away, that's right.
But afterwards he hit the shot, he did what he did, and he laughed because he knew it was a fluke. He knew it was a fluke.
Yep.
And Dottie Pepper says, Harry just said to me, well, it's a good thing he doesn't listen to me. So that kind of says right there what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So there's one. If we go back to the first day, by the way, when Rory is flushing it through 14 holes, he is playing flawless golf.
He's 4 on the par at that stage.
He rips his 4-iron over the back of the green on 15, firm green, goes through, chips it in the water, makes double. Now, I'm thinking to myself, why isn't he just re-chipping where he was? He went to the drop zone, and in his interview afterwards, he actually said, you know what, I actually realised after, I could have just chipped it from where I was again. Harry, the caddy, should have said, look, Rory, you just chipped in the water, here's our options. We can play it from here or you can go drop zone. What do you want to do? Rather than just follow him to the drop zone. He didn't even bring it up. It's stuff like that. Look, he's obviously an excellent caddy, a great guy, one of his best friends.
And a great friend.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I think Rory's hanging on to. He's a great friend, but he's a good caddy. Rory McIlroy wants a great caddy.
You want a great caddy.
You want a great caddy.
You want a caddy to say, mate, we need to drop the ball here where you can chip from. You're not hitting this shot. I'm not giving you this club. Do you think Stevie Williams would have given him the...
Stevie Williams would have done what you said before. Would have given him the club and walked off and said, see you later.
Now, Rory might have made bogey if he hit it in the front bunker. Whatever. Anyway, so there's another point. We'll get to another one.
But see, you're a great example here. Players do stupid stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you at the top of 15, hitting 3-wood when you promised all week that you wouldn't do it. You did it.
I know.
Now, if you're in contention, Wilbur would have given you a 9-iron or whatever the layup club was, and he would have walked the other way.
He could see it was my first Masters. I was giddy as a school kid. Thought, let him have his fun.
Have some
whatever.
fun. Let's tear up some cash.
Anyway, it was... But again, if we just keep going through the round, they both make par on 8, which was surprising, both driving in the fairway bunker. I thought Bryson's drive was really unlucky there. It bounced and then rolled back in. Both hit great shots into 9. They birdie. Rory makes birdie. Bryson doesn't. I thought, oh, okay, here we go. Bryson's not really doing anything. Rory's back. He's, what is he, 13 under at this stage?
I don't know.
He's 13 under par. He's 1 under for his round.
He birdies 10 too.
And then he birdies 10.
So that's it.
How about the second shot into 10, the drop of the club?
Yes.
He did a Hideki.
What was that?
I have a feeling that might have been a mud ball that came back for him. I think. I don't know.
Well, it definitely... I thought it must have been hit thin. But the way it landed, it spun. So there's no way it was hit thin.
No, the way he reacted when he dropped the club, he's like, I've just blocked it way right. But then it came back, it drew perfectly, and it was underneath the hole. So I don't know if it was just one of those things or whether it was a bit
It's funny, no one asked him, did they?
No.
That's not one... I watched it all in the end. I got home and watched every moment of the after... presentations and everything. Not one person asked him about that.
I wanted to, if I was there. But sorry, it's not a mud ball. It's a detached earth ball out of Augusta.
That's right.
We can't say
that's
mud balls.
Right.
Although Spieth...
You're not allowed to.
Did you hear Spieth have a real go
after
one of his interviews about mud balls?
It was one of the things I wanted to bring up with you. I think this mowing...
They leave them long there, you notice?
Yeah.
Because the ball doesn't roll as much.
I don't like it. I think they should stop it.
Well...
And if players are getting mud balls and now they're just starting to talk about it, I don't think Augusta needs this. The golf course is long enough. Honestly, if they mow the grass from tee to green, which would help the golfers, the ball will probably skid a little bit. It won't dig in like Spieth said.
Problem is then it'll play shorter.
How much shorter will it play?
Quite a bit.
A club a hole?
At least. Yeah, quite a bit. If you can get some more roll out from those fairways, you notice no one's getting any roll.
No one's getting roll.
Because it's shaggy, grains cut into them. But if they trim that down, it'll get another 10 to 15, I think. So anyway.
I think Augusta are crazy but not to start doing it right and let players hit shots, especially with the greens being so firm now. That's the other thing. You know, they've got this sub-air stuff underneath every green. There's a lot of rain on Monday, a lot. And by the time Saturday came around, you know, they were almost playing on Kingston Heath and Royal Melbourne and, you know, really firm greens again, which is great.
Yeah,
so,
they can do it.
You know, I don't think they need to.
Let me continue
trick it
on.
up.
Let's get to 11.
Yeah, go.
Second shot on 11. What
Yes.
did you think of that? Because when it stayed above the water, I thought, okay, it's his time.
I thought it was his Fred Couples moment.
Yes.
And I thought he was home.
I thought he got so lucky there. The other thing was, I think he played the wrong shot.
Well, I better explain to people, if you didn't see it, if you got up late and missed it, he hit a drive down the right and he hit a low one.
He had a gap to the right and a gap to the left.
And you're not going to start at the water in that position. Would you have?
I was looking at that shot, think, if he starts this right and turns it, this is going in the water.
Well, that's what happened in the end. He got a bad kick
because the slope.
He was only a bad kick away from going in the water,
Whereas
and
I
he
thought
got the bad kick.
If he aims left at the water, just overcut the heck out of it. He's not going to hit it straight, and he'll be fine. So,
That's right.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
But when he got that break, I thought, here we go. And there's a great...
He still made bogey.
He still made bogey, but there was a great Twitter thread by Monday Q.
Oh, what a thread.
If you don't follow Monday Q on Twitter, follow them, please, because these guys are unbelievable. They follow all the Monday qualifiers and things. They're brilliant.
We've actually got to get this kid on.
We probably do now.
Because he started doing it for nothing, and now he's I think he's an employee of the PGA Tour with the Monday Q stuff that he does.
It's incredible.
It's a great
But
thing.
his thread went something like this. When Rory didn't hit in the water on 11, it's his time. When he makes the mess on 13, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Just kidding or something. And then when he makes the second shot on 15, oh, it is his time. It actually is. And then when he screws up again on 18, oh, no, I guess not. We're going to have to. It was just a brilliant thread anyway.
All right. I want to talk about
13.
I want to talk about the astonishing things that we saw. But first of all, I want to talk about the sacking offences committed by Harry. All right? The sackable offences. So giving him the sand nine on 7.
Well, something to go under the trees.
Letting him hit that sand nine on 7.
Or 9, I think it was, yeah.
Sackable offence. That's number one.
Okay.
Almost standing in the way of the third shot at 13. Standing so he can't go at the pin. Like, that was...
Did you hear what Rory said afterwards?
No.
About the 13th shot that he hit in there?
Oh, yeah, he said he normally pulls them when he's on a little upslope. I did hear that.
Yes. So his ball went down into a little upslope, and he said, look, it normally goes left. So he said, I gave myself a couple of yards. He said, I wasn't aiming at the creek, but I gave myself a couple of yards. I thought, if you're not aiming 5 yards left of this pin, there is something completely wrong with you.
He gave me the impression that he was aiming right at the pin and expecting the couple yard pull that he normally hits off an upslope to balance out.
I was a little intrigued in the way he played 13. I know he had a 3 or a 4 shot lead at that time.
3 shot lead.
So he's hit 3 wood off the tee, playing it as a 3-shotter.
Yep.
I get that.
Yep.
If you're going to play it as a 3-shotter, well then play it as a 3-shotter.
Well, they asked Jack Nicklaus, and
Don't
Jack
try
said,
and birdie the hole.
That's right. Jack said he understood it. He understood it. Played as a par 4.5 is what
I
he
almost
said.
would have thought, is it worth taking driver off the tee? Okay, and if I hit it right into the pine straw, I pitch out, it's
Laying
a
up
3-shotter.
anyway, yeah.
However, if I do hit a great drive, well then
I've just got to get it over the creek.
I've got 7-iron in.
I've just got to get it over the creek. Yeah. I can hit it well left of the green almost.
Yeah, but I could see a case for either point.
Anyway, if he's not in his player's head at that stage saying...
Where are you aiming?
Correct. Where's our spot, Rory?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to aim 1 yard right of the pin and let my little uphill pull off this pitch, drag it to the left. You would have thrown the bag down and said, "Are you crazy?"
I know.
That's sackable offence number 2.
Okay. He makes double.
He makes
While
double.
Rose makes birdie on 16, and we're all square.
And we're all square. All right. I don't
Not a great tee shot on 14. He's flared it right, makes a softest bogey all the time.
So you and I both know Rory McIlroy. He's got a 1-shot lead. He birdies 17, which with an amazing 8-iron, he birdies it. He gets on 18T, and we know Rory as a right-to-left player. And we know those bunkers are right in range, and if he doesn't move it left to right, it's in play. On the 72nd tee, he hit the best drive you could ever imagine, and it missed the traps by 2 steps. Now, 2 steps is too close. That's you can't. I mean, a bad bounce gets you in the trap. You've got to, as a caddy, go, we're taking those bunkers out of play, Rory. Completely out of play. So I thought that
I didn't mind the driver.
was a sackable offence.
Okay, that's interesting because I didn't mind the driver because he must have been so nervous at that point, and he's just hit 2 pretty ordinary 3-woods on 14, and then the one on 17 wasn't a great 3-wood. He kind of flared it. The other thing was, on 18, I would go for the biggest head that I could find because the adrenaline running through your body at that point would make everything tingle, and you think, well, if I mishit this, I'd rather do this than a 3-wood because I could just hit off the neck and kill someone. I mean, I don't know. But
I thought in the playoff,
and if you hit it in the bunker, it's still, he can reach the green.
Yeah, I get that. But
do you understand that?
Yeah, it's a bunker, though, and it's uphill, and who knows what's going to happen.
The second shot is what got me there.
The second,
he's got 124 yards.
125. He had the same yardage twice.
He's got a gap wedge in his hands, ball below the feet. Yep. And I looked at where he was aiming. Okay, you talk about aiming at the creek. He was aiming halfway between the flag and the bunker.
With the ball below his feet.
And I thought, if you need to be aiming either at the flag or 1 yard right of the flag.
1 yard right of the flag to spot.
And if it does go right, you won't go in the bunker. He had to kind of hold it to hit the shot, and it went right on him, which it does off a ball below the feet, goes in the bunker. He missed it by a foot. But
only a foot. And by the way, if it's 1 metre left, then it bounces left, spins left, and ends up with a 15-footer.
But again, it's in that situation where you have to be clear of the caddy going, right, Rory, where are you aiming?
Yep.
Well, I'm aiming 20 feet right. No. Hang on, we don't do that. Let's aim 6 feet right or something.
Right.
Yeah, anyway.
That's right. And then, anyway, the other sackable offence, he's just hit it to 1 yard away from the fairway trap, and he gives him driver again.
Well, again,
I'm going crazy. He's Rory McIlroy. Just take a club that won't go anywhere near those things and hit a 9-iron in.
You know what? The best part about that playoff was Rose hit 2 quality shots, which forced Rory to answer the call. Because the hardest shot for him was going to be the tee shot. He hit a better tee shot in the playoff than he did in the regulation. But then when Rose stuffs it, I thought that is the perfect thing for Rory. Because if Rose had missed the green, Rory might have missed the green as well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But it forced him to go, right, now this is my time, and he hit one of the great shots.
You know what it showed me? I mean, here we are criticising. He's one of only 6 that have won all 4 majors. What was noticeable was that Justin Rose couldn't have played that hole any better. And his 8-iron landed 1 metre short of the pin. And he couldn't stop it.
No.
Rory, 20 yards further up, could do what he wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Could make the ball dance. And there's a great illustration of what length does for you at Augusta National and the advantage of being the best driver in the world.
It's crazy.
And by the way, I'm critical of him hitting driver. The safe side player that I used to be squirms when people do that stuff, when I know the talent that's in his hands. But the 2 drives he hit were astonishing.
Yeah.
The skill level, the situation, everything. Now, I'm going to make a big statement in a second.
Okay.
And I know you're doing.
No. Well,
you want to go? You go.
What I was going to say is we skimmed over something.
Oh, did we?
Is this where you're going?
Yeah, absolutely. You set it up.
So he makes the bogey on 14
after a double bogey,
and you're talking about things that normal human beings can't do.
Yep. Okay. Or will never experience.
It's a nice drive on 15, but it's down the left side, and he hits, I think, one of the greatest shots to ever hit at Augusta. I mean, it really is an amazing shot because if he hits that in the water, he's done.
I think done mentally forever.
You know what he did, though? He changed clubs. He had an 8-iron in his hand.
I didn't know that.
Bryson hits in the water, and he felt the wind freshen, so he changes back to 7, and he only just clears the water. So, but it's one of the greatest shots, and I think we've got the footage of this, Dan, because we need to show this. It's
I could watch this all the time.
It is phenomenal.
And by the way, when you do hit this shot and you get it, you know straight away, and it's the most beautiful feelings in golf when this sort of a shot comes off.
it may be the sexiest golf shot in the game. I think
Well,
the highest slinging draw.
I'm making a bigger statement in a second, but let's just see it. So he's taken 8 iron back to his golf bag and grabbed the 7.
7 iron. 207.
I've got my headphones on. I've got to listen to this. It's so good.
How good is Ball Tracer here?
That
Look.
sound.
Oh. And he knew, he knew. The walk after.
Jim Nance. Here it comes. Oh, how good is that? And the roar.
What's that, 3.5 or 4 feet? Doesn't matter.
5 or 6.
So, in my view, I know you've put it high. In my view, Nick, that's the greatest shot that's ever been hit in golf.
The greatest shot.
I defy you to give me a shot that was better than that in the situation. So, here he is. He starts the day with a 2-shot lead against an evil live player, Bryson DeChambeau, who, by the way,
Evil live player. He's gone there.
who I love. I love him. The way he had his talk after the round was so brilliant. Bryson DeChambeau was brilliant. I loved everything he said.
Even if he's an evil live player.
Well, in a lot of people's minds, he's evil. I mean, when Rory McIlroy was defending the PGA Tour at the start, Liv was evil. And that's why I said at the start, it was Rocky Balboa taking on Ivan Drago. Good versus evil.
Bryson said Roy never spoke to him all day too.
Yeah, I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Which
was
fine.
great. I mean, Ben Hogan's absolutely lauded for never speaking to anybody. And so is Nick Faldo.
I
and-
can tell you Tiger doesn't speak to anyone
Tiger doesn't
in the
speak to
final round of a
anybody.
major when he's trying to
Yeah.
win either. So it's not going to happen.
That's no problem whatsoever. But the way he spoke so freely and candidly was brilliant. But when you throw everything into the mix, he's just lost the lead for the second time after getting the lead back. He's made the most embarrassing, heart-stopping double bogey at 13. Then follows it up with a bogey at 14, and the putt could have dropped. Could have easily dropped on another day. Could have easily dropped. And now he's one back. To actually stump up and hit that shot, even if he hit the green, it would have been one of the greatest shots of all time. He hit it to 4 feet. It would have been the best shot of the day almost, wasn't it? The Victor hit it closer?
Yeah, similar, but he almost hit the flag. But given the occasion, the moment, you're right. It was the greatest shot of, I think in possibly Masters history. You're saying of all time. I don't know about that.
I don't know about a better shot. I mean, Ben Hogan's
made the
2
putt-
iron to the last at the US Open. He's just winning the US Open.
It went to 6 feet, and he missed the putt by a cup, by the way.
Yeah.
So we can talk about his putting. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get to his putting. We got some beautiful video.
Okay.
And Brad Faxon, we'll get to that in a second. But when you're trying to become an immortal, not just a Masters champion, Masters champion's nice, but he's trying to become a Masters champion and an immortal of sport, not just golf. I just thought to hit that shot after embarrassing himself on the previous 2 holes was, I've said breathtaking way too much in this, but it was breathtaking.
Yeah.
It was breathtaking.
Well, from 15 on, 2 amazing shots. 16, what a shot that was. And the pin position, by the way, an ode to Jack Nicklaus.
Thumbs down.
And what?
I don't like it up there. I want it back in its normal
But you know
spot.
why they did it?
Why?
It was the 50-year anniversary of Jack Nicklaus
I
winning in
didn't know that.
1975 when the pin was there and he holds the bomb, right?
See, I was doing a radio program and I didn't
come
know
on.
these things.
Yeah,
so
'cause
you were told I
I'm
didn't
thinking,
have any
I haven't
idea.
seen that up there since Jack. So
I didn't
no,
like it.
they didn't say it. I just remember it.
Well,
so.
I hope it's back in its traditional spot next year.
It will be, yeah, for sure.
Thank goodness for that. There were some good shots hit to that pin, though.
Then 17, the iron into 17 was another gorgeous shot. He thought it was a little short because he was chasing after it. Great drive on 18 and then just to hit a horrible wedge again on the last.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? We haven't even spoken about Justin Rose yet.
I like what Brandel Chambly said afterwards. It was the most bipolar round of golf he's ever seen.
Yeah, it was a great line, wasn't it?
It was a good line.
It was a really good line. Can we talk about Justin Rose?
Sure.
I don't know how many times he's come second at this joint now or how
3.
many times he's been the first round leader. You probably do.
Well,
4,
3 runner-ups, twice in playoffs. The only other person to lose twice in playoffs?
Yeah.
Ben Hogan.
Okay.
Not a bad club.
It's a good
Problem
club.
is Ben's got a jacket.
Ben's, yeah.
And
But Justin Rose kind of threw up all over himself in round 3. And
Yeah, he
I
had a
was
bad
sad
putting
because
day.
I've never met Justin, but I like him.
Yeah, he's a good
I reckon
guy.
he'd be the sort of fellow who'd be great to have a beer with or a coffee with or have dinner with or whatever. I think he'd be a really good character, and I love the way he
He's a
plays.
good bloke.
I love his golf swing. I love everything. He made 10 birdies on Sunday
I know.
in one round of golf on a golf course like that, when the greens are hard, you're trying to win, you're chasing. I don't think he made a par on the last 8 holes. He parred 10 and he made 2 bogeys and the rest must have been 6 birdies. So he had 4 birdies on the front 9, 6 birdies on the back 9, including the one on the 72nd hole, which was just pure magnificence in that situation.
Well, he
the
birdied
birdie that
Amen
hole.
corner, 11, 12, 13. I mean, that's unheard of almost.
That's the first time I've ever heard of
Yeah.
anybody birding Amen corner.
That's incredible.
I didn't even pick that up.
Yep.
That's well picked up. So, I mean, we've brushed over him. We've brushed over him.
Oh, because the story is Rory, isn't it? So it must have been so hard for Justin because, in a way, he's obviously massively disappointed to lose. But if he'd have won, it wouldn't have been. It'd be like the Paul Laurie one with Van der Velde, I think, where no one really.
No one remembered
Well,
Justin. They'd remember
no.
Rory's loss. Rory's loss.
Rory's loss
I reckon you're
would be
spot on.
more than
Yeah.
than his win. Similar to Stuart Sink winning the Open, it was Watson's loss rather
Yeah.
than Stuart Sink winning. So it may have been a case of that. Now,
No, it would have been. I
he
think
would
you're right.
still love to have the green jacket, obviously.
You're right.
And the way he plays, he's probably going to have a couple more chances.
A big shout out to the commentary. I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but after that,
we had
did we?
we had the right commentators, right?
Oh, did we? What?
That was fantastic.
And, you know, the fact that I don't know how long it went without hearing anyone's voice, but when he walked off the green and they just let the pitchers tell the story,
They let it breathe.
thank God
Yeah.
we had that team
That walk,
on board.
it was like a 5-minute walk from the
Yeah.
green when he collapsed
Yeah.
to get to the clubhouse, and you saw Shane Lowry picking
yeah,
him up.
yeah. There's a few awkward hugs too. I reckon there's a few people who didn't really want to hug, but they came in for the hug anyway to get on the telly. I want to know who those people
Yeah.
were.
I was surprised he didn't hug Dottie Pepper, actually. It was kind of like, yeah, thanks. But she had all the gear on, so maybe that was it.
Yeah.
But,
That was interesting. Have we got the video of him walking around the champions' locker room? I thought that was beautiful.
Oh, they
Yeah.
posted that later, though. The
Yeah,
Masters,
the
didn't
Masters
they?
did, yeah.
So good.
But,
Wouldn't that be something walking?
Oh.
Because you're not allowed in there, obviously.
yeah,
For
first time he was in
obvious
there.
reasons.
First time he
It's-
was in there wearing his jacket.
Champions locker room. Only the champions can go in there. No one else.
So that would have been a special moment for him. Here it is if you haven't seen it. If you're on Instagram or anywhere else, you must have seen it by
Yeah,
now. But
check out our socials and you'll see it. So,
look at that.
or check out YouTube. Watch this one on YouTube. Having a wander around. It's so good.
And there's so many champions still going around that they actually have to share lockers, which I think is kind of cool as well.
Yeah.
I wonder who he gets to share with.
Well, I thought he might have stopped at where his name might have been, but he didn't, did he? He just sort of wandered around. Maybe
Hopefully
his name's
that-
not up there yet.
Yeah. Well, it might be up there. Wouldn't that have been great if his name was up there? He actually, that was
the
already done.
Knowing the Masters, they probably would do it
Yeah.
straight away, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Each champion gives a club that they used during the week.
Ooh. What do you think he's going to give?
Well, I'd be giving that 30, 60-degree sand iron away that he hit into the Raised Creek. I'd say, look, this is one of the... Or would
Yeah,
you,
but the problem is then you're going to look at it each time and remember that.
oh, that's a good point. Well, you're giving the 7-iron then.
Yeah, you want to give him the 7-iron which hit.
The greatest shot in the history of golf.
There you go.
Say it, Nick. Say it with me. Say it with me. There's
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you can think of a better shot hit in golf,
Let's send it out to our listeners.
please
Yeah.
let me know. Send it to our socials and please find some video of it as well.
Yeah.
Because there is no way. Good luck. In fact, you'll get no replies, Dan. I'm so certain that's the greatest shot in golf we've ever seen.
Tiger on the 16th, 2005.
It wasn't bad.
Wow.
Mate, it wasn't bad. It was a fluke that it went in. It was always going to go close. It was a very, very good chip. He only had to beat Chris DeMarco. He'd already got the career Grand Slam lined up.
Bloody hell.
It's a nice try.
You have put me in my place.
It's a nice try. It was
actually,
a good shot.
In Mark's defence, that was a chip shot that you could get within 10 feet.
Yeah, I'd back you.
No
You
problem.
would have hit
because
it.
you'd know to go up the slope and that. But to hole it is a whole other
That's
level.
right. So let's just clear
Now,
this
to hit
up.
that green...
Yeah, Dan would have got it within 10 feet.
Oh, sorry.
How would he? How would Dan have gone with the 7-9 around the trees over the water?
It might have reached the 14th fairway.
Come on. Jeez.
I think there could have been a bit of hosel involved.
Anyway, if you can convince me that there is a better shot hitting in golf, I'll take you for a round of golf at Kingston Heath. That's how confident I am. You will not find a better shot in golf. You will never convince me.
I want to pose this question to you now as well.
Yeah, okay.
Rory McIlroy, he's completed the first 2 legs of the 5 major Grand Slam because he won the Players.
Oh, that's right.
Because he said the Players was a major. Now, look, it's not a major, but
Yep.
he's won Augusta.
Yep.
The next one up is Quail Hollow,
And
where
he
he's won 4 times and he owns that golf course.
Owns it.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Then you've got-
I know where you're going. It's great.
Portrush.
Yep.
Okay. I mean,
So he grew up there.
he grew up there.
And he had the course record there as an amateur.
Imagine if he manages to pick off Quail and Portrush, and then you've got the US Open.
Where's the... Well,
at
no, the Port Rush should be the last one.
that's the last one, sorry.
leg. Where's the US Open?
Oakmont,
Oh, it's right up
which
his alley.
you need to be a great driver of the ball, and that suits
That's
him down to a T. If he
absolutely.
can keep it out of the rough, depending on how much they...
Yeah,
think they-
even to the point where I don't think it matters anymore in US Opens. I mean, as far
Right.
as he is carrying the ball, he might have 9 irons out to around the green if he misses them.
Yeah. But I was talking about how he's not going to be able to win a major a while ago without someone on his bag, and now he might win all 4. But look, that's a pipe dream, obviously. So it'll
Can we
be fascinating.
Talk about some of the players we've missed, just to put things into perspective.
Seb
So
Straka.
No, not Mr. Cut. You blokes have been pinging me about Seb Straka, and folks, you won't know this, but they were laughing at me. I think he was very unlucky.
For our multi. We have the multi
For the
going.
multi. But, you put in Jason.
I know. I
you
put in Minwoo Lee as
He
the
got-
best.
yeah.
I did get Scheffler right. I said
Yeah.
top 5. I mean, he's a lock.
Well,
By the way, he
stick with
finishes
us.
4th, and with his C game, he didn't
C
even play
game.
very well.
I
It was
agree
incredible.
with that. I absolutely 100% agree with
He
that.
must
I
be
th-
kicking himself.
I think Jason Day is well and truly on the way back.
Yeah.
I love what he's doing. We mentioned that before the week. We said he's on track and his game is good enough
Your boy,
to compete.
your boy Ludwig, what a finish! Oof.
Triple bogey,
Oh.
bogey, triple. Well, no, triple bogey. Was it bogey, triple bogey?
He was tied for the lead at one point.
Yeah,
And I thought, he's going to steal this.
yeah. He'll win next year. Just back him now. Back Ludwig right now.
Okay.
He'll win.
Who else was there? Patrick Reed finished 3rd.
That was
What did
disappointing.
he slam dunk one on 17?
17.
Incredible.
He had to slam dunk the one on the 72nd hole as
Yeah,
well. He had to
yeah.
go slam dunk to get into the playoff. Thank God that didn't happen.
That sent some shivers up the men of the Masters.
We talked about sharing lockers before in the champions room.
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah.
Rory's not with Patrick.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be a disaster. That would take the edge off things, wouldn't it?
Oh gosh. I gotta say, the round of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, we've spoken about Rory and how good he's
Yeah.
played.
What was the round of the week?
The round of the week was a 71 on Friday
Oh, yep.
by a man, Nick
Yep.
Dunlap, who shot 90 on Thursday. I mean, that
Yep.
is one of the greatest turns around in the history of the game. And he was
he
4
bogeyed-
under at one point.
He bogeyed 16, 17, 18
Yeah.
to shoot 1 under.
Incredible.
We've all been there, right? I've shot
Oh, yeah.
some shocking rounds of golf. The ones that you're really embarrassed about. I admire what he did to get the 4 under with 3 to
Incredible.
play in the next round. A lot of people have picked the story up and run with it, and good on them because
is
it
good.
shows you how big a moment that was for the kid.
I didn't see how the extra guy they get to play with whoever tees off first if there's an odd number.
Yep.
I didn't see how he went. It'd be interesting to know what he shot, the member.
Because
If you don't know,
Yeah.
if there's an odd numbered cut, well then
they give you a scorer.
a player goes out first by himself, and
Yeah.
then what they do is they have a guy that
He marks your
plays-
card, basically.
Yeah, and he plays
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
I had a game of golf with the previous guy who used to do it.
Yeah.
His name was Jeff Knox.
Yeah.
Lovely guy, good player too.
Yeah,
When I
good
first
player.
played with him, I thought, we're playing at a course
He took a
called-
few scalps down, Knox.
Yeah,
he beat Sergio.
yeah,
he beat
who
Sergio.
wasn't happy. But I played with Jeff at Wade Hampton in the US,
Yeah.
which is a course in North Carolina, and this guy's flushing it. And I'm thinking, And I said to him, I said, "Oh, do you play on the Champions Tour?" He says, "No, I'm just an amateur." And anyway, we got talking. I said, "Where do you play?" He said, "Well, I'm a member at Augusta." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then it twigged on me. I said, "You're the guy. You're the guy who plays." And he said, "Yeah, that's right. I get to play. Every few years it happens." And he loves it. He enjoys it. And now he's passed the baton on to a younger member who's a really good player as well.
First time I saw him, because you get in the gates early on the Sunday, when we used to take people. And I'm out there and, he could have been a tour player for all I knew at the time. I was 100 yards away. He left a couple in the trap. He just walked up and picked his ball up.
Picked it up.
And I'm going,
Keep going.
"Oh, what's happened here?" I thought someone's DQ'd himself because he left a couple of shots in the bunker. But, that's that guy.
Yeah.
So he does scoop it up. He's there just to mark a card. And sign
Yeah,
a
but if
card.
he's playing well, he wants to put in a card and try and beat someone as well, which is nice. So, anyway. Who else?
I want to talk about the live players.
Okay.
I think some of them.
I haven't got the list in front of me.
I think some of them played pretty well.
Rahm was around 15th
Top
or
10 or
12th.
something, yeah.
Neiman, again.
Yeah, did well.
Bit disappointing.
Hatton.
Well, again, for him, the way he's been playing.
I think the live players actually played reasonable.
Okay.
And, of course, Bryson up there.
Bryson was there until, he had 2 balls in the water on Sunday. So
Yeah. But, just reading all the preliminaries going into the tournament, I think the fact that, and I didn't, here in Australia, we think live's rates off the charts because of the Adelaide tournament, which is clearly the best live event in the world by so far it's not even funny. I mean, if Adelaide's a 10, the next best one might be a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
5 out of 10. And the ratings are no good.
Right, okay.
But the PGA Tour ratings are now skyrocketing.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are huge.
Well, I don't know what the Masters was. It must have been the most watched
monster.
Masters ever, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I don't know.
We'll have a look in the break, and that information will be out by now. But apparently, one of the big issues now between the PGA Tour and Live Golf is that Live aren't going so well,
Right, okay.
and the PGA Tour is now starting the trend in the correct way.
Okay.
So the thinking is, why are we negotiating with these guys? And that's really unfortunate.
Well, the other side of it is I think a number of these players' contracts are probably coming to the end of it. So then what happens to those players? So maybe that's where they're trying to fit them in.
Yep.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't
I
know
think
the ins and outs.
I think they're going to get. Yeah. Well, I have been in contact with
the source.
my source,
Okay.
who is in direct contact with Scotty Scheffler's brother-in-law. Did a good job too, Scotty Scheffler. I thought he was quite gracious and he was really
You
good.
could tell he was steaming a little bit because
Yeah, he was steaming.
he really wanted it.
He was steaming early, then he got into the spirit of
Yeah,
things
that's
and was good. But it's the live teams events that are the biggest headache in negotiations, according to my source.
Okay.
So that's interesting because I thought the teams events were the things that were actually working.
Well, my favourite event is the last
The
one.
last event's the best
which
event.
is great. The team one's brilliant.
So I'm not sure why that's the case, but
Okay.
not only have I heard that, but I have also read that
Okay.
in a Golf Digest piece. Great magazine, by the way, Golf Digest. Not so sure about their Australian golf course ratings, but
Here we go.
Had
to do it.
things can change. Things can change. But anyway,
Unlike Mark's opinions.
well,
All right. So what do you think? Front nine done?
how long have we been going for?
Actually,
I've lost count.
a long time.
Have we?
Last question. Is this what you would have worn if you would have
My red
known you're gonna don the green jacket? Would that have been what
red
it
and
was?
green should never be seen, Nick.
No?
Should never be seen.
I thought that was
Well,
blue and green. But I'm saying actually this would fit well with the green jacket.
Yeah,
I think Rory, who's behind us, he had a shade of blue or bluish
Yeah,
grey.
blue and green should never be seen.
So, yeah.
I was a little bit concerned. I think the players who wear the different
Rose went for the
looks of green
apricot
work.
style, which
Yeah.
is what Scheffler won with last year, I think. So
I'm an admirer. Anyway,
you
to
have
me,
to think about these things going into the final round.
all right, well, just to finish this front nine off, the front nine. It's the best drama-filled sporting event I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was one of the greats. One of the greats for me.
And it's not just us saying that, folks.
No.
You read the papers on Tuesday of this week here in this country, and people from all different backgrounds and different sporting genres are all saying the same thing. What we saw at Augusta National, unmatched.
Incredible.
Completely unmatched.
It's also not that common to see golf make the mainstream, early up in the mainstream 6 o'clock news in this country. It doesn't happen too often,
Yep.
which is great.
Anyway, you're not allowed to say the back nine at Augusta, but you are here. So I'll see you on the back nine.
How does the best get better? With more speed off the tee. More control with your irons. More spin with your wedges. Introducing the all-new Pro V1 and Pro V1X.
We're live from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. We all know the number one ball in golf is Titleist and the number one shoe and glove in golf is FootJoy. We're here thanks to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Ping will always help you play your best. Turn your bogeys into birdies with the Watch My Numbers app. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. That's better. Now, back to Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick and Mark.
Well, it all starts on the back nine on Sunday. That's what they say in the Masters, but we've got plenty left on Talk Birdie to Me. And it's time for this week's Top 5.
Top five.
The Talk Birdie to Me Top 5, thanks to Southern Golf Club.
Top five.
I saw the Golf Channel do their list after I sent you mine, by the way. They
Jaime
copied
Diaz,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about his top 5 list in
Okay.
a second because I can pick holes in it so easily. It's not even funny.
Okay.
But my top 5
What is it? Go on.
is the top 5 men's majors in the history of golf. I'm all about the big statement today.
You are. The
Yeah.
greatest shot ever hit?
Easily the greatest shot ever hit. Nothing comes close.
Okay.
Nothing comes close. If you can think of something, send it to our socials. We'll get in touch with you. At number 5, the jewel in the sun.
Yes.
Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, 65-66 on the last day, 66-66 on Saturday, 65-66. Jack Nicklaus hits one right on the 72nd hole, chunks it out. Tom Watson hits a 7-iron to 2 feet, and then Jack holes the putt, a big curler too,
Holds a
big
40-footer. Yeah.
And Tom still has to hold that second putt. The jewel in the sun, look it up, folks. There's specials made on it. It's a beauty.
It is good. Yeah.
At number 4, I'll put it here because I think it's the best golf ever played. And that is the US Open at Pebble Beach where Tiger Woods won by 15 shots, something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on the shots.
Interesting.
I only do that because there has never been better golf played than what Tiger Woods did that week. I think it was Ernie Els and Jimenez came second. They were over par.
Yeah.
And
I think
Tiger was 13 under.
12 or 13.
12 or 13
yeah.
under par, something like that. But
Yeah.
driving, irons, everything.
Okay.
Including he almost got disqualified on the Saturday because he ran out of balls. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Was it that one?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
the one. On the it might have been on one of the previous rounds, round 1, 2 or 3. If you take a ball, if you don't know this, if you take a ball out of play, you're not allowed to put that ball back in play. You're not allowed to. Did you know
Really?
that?
No.
Yeah,
I thought you can use old balls.
get Stu.
Okay, we'll get Stuart.
If you
McPhee
take a
onto it.
ball out of play, you
Yeah.
cannot put it back in play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Stevie Williams had one ball left after Tiger hit it left into the ocean on the last. He had the last ball, threw it up, and Tiger, he's trying to get him to hit an iron, and Tiger didn't. He still hit the wood.
Still hit the driver.
But if he hit that into the water, this whole tournament is over.
Really?
It's over.
Wow.
Stevie was the only one at the time who knew
my
about that situation.
That's incredible.
Anyway, That's at number 4.
Okay.
At number 3, Tiger Woods' comeback at the Masters in 2019, coming back and winning that tournament. I've said breathtaking a little bit, but seeing Tiger back with a green jacket on,
It was pretty special.
that was spectacular.
Him coming off the green to his son, Charlie,
Yep.
the big hug.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
The 1986 Masters, Jack Nicklaus shooting 65 in the last round, 30 on the back 9. I think he birdied 10 as well. So what's that? He shot 7 under the last 10 holes. I mean, talk about commentary, talk about drama. I think Greg Norman birdied 14, 15, 16 and 17. And here is this young, blonde Australian bombshell. He had a chance to birdie the last 5 holes at Augusta that beat the greatest player who ever lived.
Yep.
Making bogey. But still, the drama was
It was incredible.
and that's the tournament for me that I fell in love. I was hooked after that in 1986. And the thing we just saw, folks, the 2025 US Masters, when Rory McIlroy did some really strange stuff and some amazing things, and became the 6th player to win the career Grand Slam. It's the number 1 golf tournament ever.
Wow.
Number 1 major ever, and the best sporting event I've ever seen for drama, ever.
Brilliant. Great
Good on
top
you.
5.
Good on you.
Great top 5.
Great top 5. Hard to argue with number 1. It's impossible to argue with number 1,
I think
really.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Although Jaime Diaz did.
He had a bit of a different list.
Yeah, but it was American tainted.
Well, there was no 97 Masters in there, Mark. I mean, Tiger? No?
No, he
Okay.
won. It was his first win.
Okay.
He won by a lot.
Well, that is the top 5, thanks to Brad and the great team at the Southern Golf Club.
I'll tell you what Tiger thought of it. He changed his swing. He hated it so much, he changed his swing after it.
Jeez.
It was tainted for him.
Oh, wow.
All right, now, Nick, get ready because the Ping Global results are here. Ping will help you play your best, and this jingle that you have created is going to hopefully nail this Ping Global results for us.
Look at you dancing around.
Fantastic. Well, there actually wasn't too many Ping Global results this week. There was a couple of tournaments going on. One you may have heard of, obviously the Masters. Rory Scheffler, I was going to say. Rory McIlroy
Rory
finally
Scheffler.
gets the Grand Slam. I'm going to put this to you. That's 5 majors. He's just equaled Brooks. He's 1 behind Phil. How many do you think he's going to win?
I think you'll get to 9.
9. Wouldn't
You?
that'd be? Yeah,
Make a
I think he's
prediction.
got a chance.
If he gets the double figures, it's...
Well, he's got. Yeah, I think he's got a good 10 years ahead of him. So there's 40 chances.
40 chances.
Okay. Now I think he'll get a green jacket or 2,
Yep.
given he knows
Yep.
how to play this
Now,
course, sort of.
I want to ask you a question. There's a couple of Europeans who have won more majors. Faldo, one of the old guys, Varden or something, I don't know.
Varden, and then Seve's got 5 as well.
Seve's got 5 as well. I think with the career Grand Slam, he becomes the greatest ever European player.
I agree.
I don't think there's any argument.
No, I agree.
I mean, Faldo won 3 Masters,
I don't know
3
about Harry
Opens.
Varden, but Faldo's 3 and 3. Seve was, what did he win? 2 or 3 Masters and a couple of Opens.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I think he becomes the best ever
2 Masters, 3 Opens, I think, for Sev.
European player. So that's.
I think he's the best European player we've ever seen.
Incredible. Obviously, wanting to play off over Justin Rose. We've gone all through this. We don't need to. But amongst the Australians, a bit of a disappointing week for Adam Scott, Cam Smith, and Cam Davis. All missed the cut. Cam Smith had a bit of a shocker of a Friday, didn't he? It was a strange
when
one.
he was warming up with that jacket on.
Yeah, I saw that. He had a navy jacket on.
Now, I saw it explained. I actually went on radio because I listened
Wasn't
to
it
all the
part
commentary.
of a promo thing or something?
Yeah. So I thought...
You thought it might have
after
been like a swing aid or something.
like putting a towel under your arms.
Yeah. It's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, because if I'm not sure whether folks you've ever swung in a jacket, but you cannot have a flying right elbow.
No.
You are connected. It's as simple as that. And I heard one of the American commentators saying just that it was a training aid, a newfangled one.
Right, okay.
But then I heard Cam Smith talking about it, and it had nothing to do with it. Just they were drunk. And whoever owns the company that he gets dressed in asked him to wear the jacket.
There you go. Okay. Well,
Did you
as
think it
do.
looked good?
Oh,
I didn't
not,
think so.
Not on the range, no.
No, I think you maybe wear the jacket after your round.
Yeah, that's probably right.
It looked
Having
a little bit
beverage.
silly going onto the driving range.
Of the Aussies who did make the cut, Jason Day, another solid week, tied for 8th. He almost became the second player to go bogey-free the first 36 holes. He
Yeah.
bogeyed the 36th hole, as
Yeah.
it turned out. Only made 5 bogeys all week, so pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's playing well.
Play from Jason and Min Woo Lee, who finished in 49th out of the 52 players that made the cut. The other event going on this week was the South African Women's Open on the Ladies European Tour, where Frenchwoman Perrine Delacour had a 2-shot win over Cassandra Alexandra. Our own Kelsey Bennett tied for third, so well done to Kelsey there. And a couple of Kiwis also made the cut. New Zealander Amelia Garvey tied for 20th and Momoka Gabori tied for 45th, and that is the shortest ping global results we've had all season.
Well, I don't think anyone's talking about anything but what happened over the weekend in Augusta. So. And it's also very reasonable to have a short feedback, and it's all Augusta-based. Okay, so the feedback today, it's all Augusta-based. A couple of questions, a couple of comments, so you guys can give us a couple of views on those things. But first of all, we need to draw the winner of our better multi.
Hey!
Now, the multi didn't go so well.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Because it wasn't paying like $3. If it was paying $3, I'd be really angry.
Yeah.
But it was paying $31.
Yeah.
And we're trying to look after the pack.
Yeah, that's true.
No respect, Striker still has no respect.
If Striker wins this week, there's going to be trouble.
Yes.
You know who I think might win it, because it's Hilton Head this week.
Yeah. And it's an
Ray.
elevated event. Rory's not playing.
Lowry. Look out for Shane Lowry. I know he didn't have a good weekend, but this course suits him down to the ground. He'll want to follow in his fellow Irishman's footsteps.
I think that's a very good call. And I'm going to go put money on Striker anyway, because what I just said resonates. He'll probably win this week.
He probably will. So we had a heap of entries from people who signed up to BetR and got on the multi.
Oh, that's
and of
great.
course, you've got to gamble responsibly, because we know that there's no guarantees you're going to
You
win.
could only put $10 down then.
You can only do that.
It's a bit of fun.
If you can't afford to lose it, you can't afford to bet it. So I tell my kids.
And I promise this to all the pack out there. If you can only put $10 down, I don't want you to win $40. I want you to win $310.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why we do what we do. And
So,
we use our judgment.
A lot of the Wolfpack entered, and our winner is, and we just randomly drew it earlier on, our winner is Trent Rossiter from Branxton in the Hunter Valley.
Holy dolly.
Branxton in the Hunter Valley, that's where Corey Lamb's from, actually.
is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he plays out there, so I wonder if he knows.
Hey, well done.
Trent.
That's fantastic. Good
Well
on
done,
you.
Trent. So
Well done,
Trent has won $250 to spend at the Golf Clearance Outlet. They don't have one in the Hunter Valley. I reckon it's coming at some point in time. They're opening up everywhere. But Trent can jump online and spend $250 on whatever he wants. Well done, Trent. And thanks to Sam at the Golf Clearance Outlet too for that.
Brilliant.
Okay, a couple of feedbacks here, guys. This is just a comment here. This is from Jake. Hey, team, what a beautiful, beautiful moment. The world of golf has finally been aligned. Well done, Rory. And this one from John. I would have loved to have seen Cam win the Masters, but he just still doesn't have his driving under control. He says he's happy with his game, but his results have not been great this year, which is kind of true.
Where I was leading to, when he was warming up with that jacket on, I froze the TV. It's in a shocking spot at the top. Now, I don't know whether it's because of the jacket that he was wearing, but I've never seen him so short and so across the line.
Yeah, that's a
And
problem.
that's a problem when you're trying to hit the ball straight,
Yeah.
330 yards or 300 metres. That's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, that's
you
kind of what Rory was doing
Yeah.
a bit last year. Remember, he got a bit
Yeah.
across the line and
Yeah.
locked himself in the
That's
room
right.
for a few weeks.
If you're across the line and you're only hitting at 200 metres,
Yeah.
it's no big deal. You'll be right. But if you're trying to hit 300 metres and you're across the line that much, that's an issue.
It is.
Question from Shankted here. VJ Singh withdrew. Why didn't the Masters offer the spot to Leishman?
Leishman?
Leishman's not in the
he's
top
not
50.
a major winner, not in the top official
50.
world golf rankings.
Yeah.
And because he's at Live, there's no path to
Yeah.
pretty simple.
Yeah.
Fair enough. From George, some Masters trivia. I was interested in your comments, Mark, about Tiger incorrectly signing his scorecard at the Masters and being allowed to continue. As you know, the same thing happened in 1968, but Roberto was stripped from the playoff with the famous line,
I'm a stupid, something like that.
What a stupid I am.
What a stupid I am. Thank
"What
you.
a stupid I am." That incident diminished Bob Golby's win, and maybe that influenced the officials in the Tiger situation. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think Tiger, he'd been away injured and they got him back and he was thereabouts and they just wanted him to play. Because like I said, if you sign an incorrect scorecard, the game history will show you that you don't play anymore. It's over. And for the first time in the history of the game, they said, nah, we'll see you tomorrow.
At the same time, I like the fact that they let him play.
Yes,
because it's one of those stupid rules.
I agree with you.
So why don't we have more common sense rules?
Well,
okay?
let's change the rules because I agree with you. You sign an incorrect scorecard. Hang on a second. We'll just add a couple of score. You didn't know you were signing. At the time, you had no idea you were signing an incorrect scorecard.
Again, I'd say this is more for the professional level, not the amateur level golf, because sometimes scorecards do get signed incorrectly because for reasons
No
we
one
don't want
cares.
to talk about.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, but at pro level, well, then it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Question here from Ant. Fred Couples beat Adam Scott and Cam Smith. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah.
Well, Fred's a freak.
You shot 71 the first round.
71 was
By the
incredible.
way, how about Langer almost making the cut
Yeah.
at the age of 67 in his last Masters or
Yeah.
whatever? That was incredible.
There was a picture of them in 1992 of Fred putting, it might have been 93. Fred was putting on, or was it Langer? No, Fred was putting the green jacket on Langer.
Right. Okay.
So they won back-to-back years
Right,
around 32 years ago.
How good's that?
And someone put that picture up on socials when I was
So good.
scrolling away. And they said, look, these two are still going 32 years later.
There were a couple of horrible finishes for guys to miss the cut as well. There was Dustin Johnson.
What did he do on the last?
Bogey, double bogey.
What about Koepka?
Brooks Koepka went bogey quad, although he missed by 3. And then Straka, obviously, who had a shocking first round, but got it all the way back to what, level par or one
He
over
got it
with,
to one. He got it all the way back to 1 over,
with 2 to play.
and he was going to get in the top 10. There was
he-
nothing sure. I
And
was
how
so
did he-
happy.
How did he finish?
Finished bogey triple.
Oh, brutal. Brutal.
He's a bloody good player. Just a very,
is.
very unlucky player.
A question for you from Rodney. Guys, on the 15th at Augusta, aren't you better off in the right-hand bunker for 2 than over the back? Lots of green to work with and not playing towards the water.
You are correct, depending on how far over the back of the green you are. If you're only a few yards over the back, that's probably better than the bunker. And again, it depends on where the pin position is. If the pin's in the right-hand side, well, then the bunker's a great spot.
Yeah.
Far left, it's actually a really tricky bunker shot where you can hit that one in the water at times if you get the wrong bounce. But it's all situational.
Hey, what did Rory do? You know, round 1 when he chipped it in the water from over the back of 15. Did he just hit a chip with no spin? Did he drop kick it? I mean,
He said he hit it how he wanted to. He thought the green was just a lot firmer than what he thought, but that went in with pace.
Not that much
It
far,
wasn't just
yeah.
dribbling in. I think he mishit it a little.
Yeah.
Or, no, to the point, I think he needed to open the face up a little more and land it higher and shorter and a bit softer because he hit it like a normal chip, and you're thinking, you don't hit a normal chip from back there. You've got to create something.
it raced past the hole.
Yeah.
That's a bit of
Scheffler
Bryce.
had a similar chip, and he left it 20 feet short, knowing that you couldn't go long.
Yeah.
So
That's Bryson saying, I can't believe that putt on the 3rd hole went 9 foot past. And Jack Nicklaus saying, I've never 3-putted ever in my life in a major situation where I had a chance to win. That's all that is.
Last bit of feedback here. This is just a comment and a question, which is, I think, a nice one to finish on. This is from Jim. Can you please get Nick to talk through every hole at Augusta like he did when he was describing how he played 13 last week?
Yeah, that was good.
was great.
I agree with Jim. You were very, very good. The description.
was that from Jim Nance or?
No, it wasn't Jim Nance. You're not getting the call anytime soon.
No.
You're stuck here with me. No, that was good. Well, I'll tell you what, if you do that, you can do it by yourself and I'll go
figured.
somewhere else.
It's a bit like the rake pod. You can do that by yourself as well.
All right, so that's the feedback, guys. It's all Augusta today. We've got lots and lots. So we will come back later in the week and do another feedback pod. But we have one more thing to do today, and that is another Augusta-themed item, which is the Masterclass for Watch My Numbers.
What are you doing it on?
Apparently the greatest shot ever hit in the history of the game.
Oh,
that's
With
right.
a slinging 7-iron high hook, and how you basically shape the ball like that.
Can we take Rory off and put the simulator up? 'Cause I want to see it hook.
Let's give it a go.
Let's
Yeah,
give
right.
it a go.
I'll
let's-
get Magic Mike.
Let's have a break for 30 seconds and grab a coffee, and we'll come back and do the Masterclass in a sec.
Okay, time for this week's Masterclass, and it's on the greatest shot ever hit in the history of golf. Over to you, Nick.
That's a lot to live up to. That's the greatest shot ever.
You got to show everyone how to do it.
It could be the second greatest after this shot. Now, hitting a big slinging high draw like Rory did on the 15th hole at Augusta during the last round, that's really, a shot that we all dream of hitting. Now, how do you do it? How do you put curve on the ball like that? Well, it has to do with the relationship between the club face and the club path. The old school way of doing it was aim the club face where you want the ball to finish and aim your feet where you want the ball to start. Now, that's actually not quite right because the club face has a lot more influence on where the ball starts. So we don't want your club face aiming at the target. We want it aiming away from it, but less than where your feet are aiming, if that makes sense. So me being a left-hander, I want to aim way out to the left for me to hit a big swinging draw. For a right-hander, you're going to aim way to the right. Now, in relation to my path here, I'm swinging out to the right. My club face is just going to be slightly closed as it makes impact with the ball. So I can either turn it in at address or feel as though my hands are really going to rotate quite hard through the ball. The choice is yours. I like to do a bit of a combination of both. So let's see if we can get this ball moving, just like Rory did on the 15th at Augusta. Oh, there it is. Look at that flight, Mark. Look at that flight.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Come on.
Oh, look at that! Hang on a second. The ball travelled 200 metres.
And look at the club.
Oh, there's no way.
7 iron, baby. I think I might need to go pee in a cup.
Great stuff.
I think they might have jigged the numbers. Who knows? But
it's been doctored.
It was a great shot. But that's how you hit the big slinging draw, the high hook. Try it on the range first. Don't just experiment with this out on the golf course. You've got to practice these things.
Great stuff, Nick. Thank you, Dan. Thanks to everybody who listens in week after week. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.
And that's been Talk Birdie, Australia's most popular golf podcast with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. As everyone knows, Titleist is the #1 ball in golf and FootJoy the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave a review, and we'd love you to share the pod with a friend who loves their golf. Huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Ping, like they do for Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. You can see your local golf shop or professional for a Ping club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet always beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. Watch My Numbers is the most powerful data-based golf app in the world. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. And better, they've got the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Download from the App Stores today. Now that's better. Keep in mind, what are you really gambling with? But for now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.